This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 29th day of June in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Guyana has recorded 5 new cases of the coronavirus, and that takes the total number of active cases up to 109. Over the weekend, there were also 5 additional recoveries, and that takes the total number of recoveries up to 114. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdir Prasad continues to warn citizens about the spread of the coronavirus and the need for health guidelines to be followed. Last evening, hundreds of persons breached the curfew and were spotted hanging out on the KTC wall, with very few of them wearing face masks. Situations like that is worrying for the health officials.
Over the weekend, we observed large gatherings on the seawall in Region 4 after 6 p.m. despite repeated warnings to observe physical distancing, to wear a mask when out in public, and to adhere to the curfew measures. It is quite obvious that all our messages are falling on deaf ears and that our young population is determined to do as they please, evidently of the opinion that COVID-19 is a hoax and that they cannot be infected. I wish to ask these questions. Is the situation in the 32 states of the USA a fake? Is neighboring Brazil's death toll a figment of our imagination? Do we have to see our citizens dropping and dying on the road before we take COVID-19 seriously? Are we so callous that we think little of the services being done by all the frontline workers, even at the risk of infecting themselves and their family?
Dr. Prasad also reminded that in Guyana, the most affected persons are young people between the ages of 20 and 29, especially those young men.
What about the statistics which show that our males are predominantly being affected and that our 20 to 29 age group is more at risk? Finally, do you really care for our loved ones, particularly our grandmothers and grandfathers, whose lives we endanger when we go home after such gatherings? I do wish to make a special appeal once again to our doubting Thomases in Region 4 that COVID-19 is here in Guyana and will soon catch up with us if we continue with our lax behavior.
Meanwhile, the Region 1 sub-district of Maruca has over 60 cases of the coronavirus. That's more than 50% of all the current active cases. The Chief Medical Officer said citizens of Regions 1 and 7, which have both seen increases in the past 2 weeks, need to be more vigilant.
We call again on the residents of Maruca and those in the mining communities in Region 7 to be vigilant and take heed of the warning. We have indicated that a large number of positive cases in both of these regions have no signs and symptoms. These persons can transmit this disease and you will not even know that they are sick because there is no sign to tell you this. I continue to urge you to wear a mask and observe physical distancing guidelines provided.
Guyana has been battling the coronavirus disease since the first case was reported on the 11th of March. A total of 234 more cases have been confirmed since then. Meanwhile, the Public Health Ministry has announced that it is moving apace with the setting up of the Infectious Diseases Hospital and the former Ocean View Hotel building. Several areas have already been completed in the hospital. Once fully completed, the new hospital is expected to house COVID-19 patients and ease the strain on the Diamond and Georgetown hospitals. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hello, boys and girls. As you prepare to write your exams, there are a few things you will have to do each day so that you and those around you can be safe and healthy. Please remember, on the day of your exam, you must wear a mask correctly, covering your mouth and nose before entering the school compound. Wash your hands with soap and water at the entrance of the school at the sink provided for 20 seconds. Paying attention to the palm and back of your hands, between your fingers and their tips. Dry your hands with a clean clean tissue and dispose in the closed bin nearby. Boys and girls, your temperature will be tested by an official. Then you will go to the designated waiting area with the floor signs and markings clearly visible, standing or sitting 2 meters or 6 feet apart at all times. It is now time to start your exam. The invigilator will direct you to the examination room. All the best. Boys and girls, playing and gathering are not allowed. Parents, the Ministry of Education thanks you for the support you have given the children during the time at home. However, in the interest of everyone's well-being, you will not be allowed to enter the school compound. Parents and guardians, we are counting on your support in picking up the children promptly after their exam. Remember, the Ministry of Education will provide transport for children who are living far away that require that assistance. Please be reminded that vending outside the school's compound is prohibited. Only authorized canteen vendors with a copy of their food handler certificate and wearing a mask, food gloves, apron, hairnet, and a hat will be allowed. Always remember to wear your mask correctly, wash your hands, and stay safe. And let's win the fight against COVID-19. A message from the Ministry of Education.
We all want to stay in touch, right? Now, even more than ever before. So to keep your connection strong, GTT is going 2 for 2. Combine GTT mobile and home internet services and we'll give you 2 gigs of free mobile data each month. With 2 GTT services, you're fully connected at home and on the go. Visit us online at gtt.co.gy/2for2 to learn more and start doing more with 2 for 2 from GTT. Stay safe, stay strong, Guyana. We're in this together.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. You can prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. If you have the following symptoms: coughing, fever, or difficulty breathing, please stay home. If you don't have these symptoms, then practice social distancing. Avoid crowds. When in a group, keep a distance of at least 3 feet between yourself and other persons. Please wash your hands with soap regularly or use hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Welcome back. The Guyana Police Force is continuing its investigations into that apartment building fire at Cummings Lodge, which claimed the lives of 3 persons on Saturday night. Investigators are still questioning a relative of the late owner of the property, who was reportedly seen hurrying away from the property on Saturday night, moments before the entire building was engulfed in flames. There are reports that earlier on Saturday, the same suspect had an argument with one of the tenants of the building. It is unclear what triggered that row. The fire service responded promptly to the blaze, but the fire had already moved through the building, killing 40-year-old Beverly Williams, her 46-year-old husband, Marvin Eiffel, and their 14-year-old son, Dewal Eiffel. The 3 were trapped in their heavily grilled apartment, which had just one entry that was also its exit. All the tenants of the Cummings Lodge building managed to escape.
And I was sitting on the step there, I always see a set of smoke start coming out of the beside the fire happened by the building. I hear one set of people screaming. As I run over and I always see by the bottom flat, the smoke start come from the bottom flat. And in the whole place the fire start to thing. some people try to run out, and as they run out, and says he got some people left inside there, 3 boys.
Upstairs they went, or?
No, they went to the downstairs.
How much family lived in there? I know it was an apartment building, right?
Yeah.
How much persons lived there?
To be honest, I can't really tell you how much people live in there. Because normally don't be around, so can't really say how much. But it's an apartment building, upstairs and downstairs.
28 persons are now homeless as a result of the blaze. The investigation is ongoing tonight. Police and fire investigators are probing a fire that completely torched the vehicle of journalist Travis Chase and 2 other vehicles early this morning. The new Honda CR-V belonging to Chase was parked in the compound of the Department of Public Service Training and Scholarships at around 3 o'clock this morning when the incident occurred. Chase, who lives nearby and usually parks at night in the compound, said he was alerted by the shouts of his name by the security guard. He explained that he immediately rushed across to the compound and saw his car engulfed in flames. The journalist said he immediately contacted the fire service as the fire quickly spread to the other vehicles under the shed. Chase's vehicle was completely destroyed, along with a minibus, a car, and a motorcycle. He said he's baffled as to who may be behind the blaze. The entire incident was captured on CCTV cameras. The journalist, who also works for a gold mining company, said he is hoping for a full and thorough police investigation. The vehicle was recently purchased. The chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, has withdrawn from any active participation in the PPP Civic's appeal of the Guyana Court of Appeal ruling in the election declaration case. On Sunday, Justice Singh's attorney Kim Kite informed the registrar of the CCJ that the decision was made after some consideration. No other detail was provided. The decision means that the GCOM chair will not be making any submissions in the case. The GCOM chair is the third named respondent in the matter, filed before the CCJ by the General Secretary of the PPP Para Jagdeo and the party's presidential candidate Irfan Ali. The attorneys in the matter were all expected to file their submissions over this past weekend, with the attorneys for the applicant being given additional time to respond to those submissions. The case is set to come up before the judges of the CCJ on Wednesday. The court is still to decide on whether it has jurisdiction to hear the matter. That decision is likely to come after listening to the arguments of the attorneys in the case. The PPP wants the CCJ to throw out the Court of Appeal's ruling that the words "more votes than," as stated in the Guyana Constitution, means more valid votes. The applicants are also seeking additional orders with regard to the declaration of the elections. Guyana's Attorney General Senior Counsel Basil Williams, who is also a respondent in the matter, has been arguing that on the particular issue that was taken before the Guyana Court of Appeal, it is that court and that court only that has the final say on the issue. He has said the CCJ has no jurisdiction. The International Court of Justice has confirmed that it will be going ahead tomorrow with the Guyana versus Venezuela matter on the question of the court's jurisdiction in the case concerning the 1899 arbitral award. In a statement over the weekend, the court announced that Guyana's delegation will present its oral arguments from 2 to 5 tomorrow afternoon. The government of Venezuela has informed the court that it will not participate in the oral proceedings. In view of the current COVID-19 pandemic, the hearing will take place in the Great Hall of Justice in The Hague via video conference. Some members of the court will be physically present while others will participate remotely, and the representatives of Guyana will address the court by video link. There will also be a live webcast. Guyana is seeking to obtain a final and binding judgment from the court that the 1899 arbitral award, which established the location of the land boundary between then British Guyana and Venezuela, remains valid and binding, and that Guyana's Essequibo region belongs to Guyana and not Venezuela. Under the UN Charter and the court's own rules, its final judgments, both on jurisdiction and the merits, will be legally binding on Guyana and Venezuela, whether or not Venezuela participates in the proceedings. While the Guyana Defense Force is preparing for a changing of its guard, Colonel Godfrey Bass will be acting as the Chief of Staff of the GDF from this coming Wednesday, as the current Chief of Staff proceeds on pre-retirement leave. In a statement today, the Ministry of the Presidency announced that President David Granger has granted approval to Chief of Staff Brigadier Patrick West to proceed on accumulated leave with effect from the 1st of July. That accumulated leave will conclude in March of next year. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces has extended best wishes to Brigadier Patrick West for his service as an officer in the Guyana Defense Force since 1985. Brigadier West served as the country's 10th Chief of Staff. He expressed gratitude to the President and the Defense Board for what he called both their specific and general direction, which he said has helped to shape the course of effective transformation within the force, while at the same time developing the concept of total national defense. Brigadier West is a recipient of the Military Service Star, the Military Efficiency Medal, and the Border Defense Medal, among others. Meanwhile, 51-year-old Colonel Godfrey Best says it is an honor to be bestowed with the privilege of serving as the Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force. He offered thanks to the President and the Defense Board for the opportunity to serve while Brigadier West proceeds on his accumulated leave. Colonel Best, who started his military career in 1990, served in command, administrative, staff, and training appointments throughout the GDF. He said his professional education was supported by the compulsory professional military education of the Guyana Defense Force, which includes the senior and junior command and staff courses and managing security in wider defense context. Across the Region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Homo Trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Are you washing your hands correctly? Here are some tips on when and how to wash your hands. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water. Step 2. Then apply soap. Step 3. For 10 to 15 seconds, lather your palms together. Always remember to pay attention to your fingers, especially your nails and tips. And don't forget the back and between your fingers. Step 4. Rinse hands with clean water for about 20 seconds. Step 5. Dry hands with a clean paper towel or tissue.
But when should you wash your hands? After using the toilet, before and after eating, preparing or handling uncooked food, after playing with pets or caring for animals, after sneezing and coughing or blowing your nose, before and after changing babies or caring for others.
Frequent hand washing or using a hand sanitizer with alcohol as an alternative will remove viruses and bacteria from your hands.
A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO.
Across the region right now, Dominica says it will not extend the state of emergency and the curfew that had been in place as part of the efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus when it expires tomorrow. The country's Prime Minister said the emergency powers come to an end tomorrow and will not be extended. Dominica had recorded 18 cases of the coronavirus that was first detected in China last December and blamed for the deaths of 502,000 people across the globe. Dominica's Health Minister Dr. Irvin McIntyre said despite the decision to lift the curfew and the state of emergency measures, citizens should continue to follow the various health emergency guidelines. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Brown has announced plans to liquidate the regional carrier Liat. Brown, who made the announcement on Saturday, said a new entity will be formed and a meeting of all shareholders will be held shortly to discuss the matter. He told a radio station in Antigua that the coronavirus has increased the losses for Liat. Brown added that the region cannot move forward without a form of connectivity, and they cannot have an integration movement if people cannot connect. The Prime Minister explained that Liat does not have sufficient assets to satisfy the requirements or claims claims of most of its creditors, including the airline's employees. Concerning the fate of the employees, the Prime Minister said the governments will not just walk away from them. And finally tonight, international news. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the law restricting abortions in Louisiana is unconstitutional in a landmark decision. The law required that doctors providing abortions have admitting privileges to nearby hospitals, which the justices said led to an undue burden on women. Chief Justice John Roberts joined liberal justices in the 5-4 decision in a blow to the anti-abortion groups. The court struck down a similar policy in Texas back in 2016. This is the first major abortion case ruling from the Supreme Court during the Trump presidency. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.